the biggest things that I teach people is that it all starts with self-awareness, right? We can't change what we're not aware of. So I teach mindfulness. I teach different practices for them to start to explore the things that they don't know.
Yeah.
And they start to be able to access a larger part of their capabilities.
I love it. Welcome to Barbell Shrugged. I'm Anders Warner. We're here in Austin, Texas at On It Gym. I always want to call this On It Academy. The Academy sounds so dope.
Where is the
On
academy?
It Gym.
The Academy, I think, is next door, maybe.
that's
or
what
it's
this-
on the internet.
The
We don't know.
Yeah, the On It Academy is their online
It's
division.
online,
yeah,
yeah.
this is their On It Gym.
Shit.
It's not like a whiteboard and a
Yeah,
teacher.
yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, nobody's teaching physics or anything.
Okay.
Thank God.
Too much math.
What up?
Nothing.
We're hanging out with Doug Larson. Mr. Strong Coffee. Our boy Colton is on the cam.
I like
Colt
how
gets
you,
a
you don't even have a
sick
name.
shout
You're just Mr. Strong Coffee.
I know.
You are no longer Adam.
I'm no longer
Adam.
Adam.
Well, dude, our names, the AV is super hard because I don't know anyone else with the AV. So your name pops up in my phone. It's like AV is texting you, and I'm like, how did I text myself?
texting myself.
How did I do that? What did I say?
That's
When
funny.
did that happen? Just real
I've never met
problems.
anybody with my initials
Yeah,
either.
there
so
you
I
go.
mean,
And I go Von Roth. You've got 12 syllables going on there. It's a long thing. So we go Strong Coffee, Von Roth.
The
Or
body.
just find him at Adam Von Rothfelder on the Googles. All the things.
all the things.
We're hanging out here. Michael Cazayoux. You've been in this game so freaking long. Where are we going? We got to talk about a little strength and conditioning. You're now doing a bunch of business coaching, business for working against gravity.
That is right. That is right.
All the things. So what I'm really stoked about is just I really enjoy just hearing about the journey. And you were in the CrossFit Games for 2 years. You guys won.
We did. Yep.
You
12 and 13.
killed it. Just kind of the progression through CrossFit, and now how you're taking this business approach and helping a lot of fitness professionals through brute strength, through working against gravity, and what that looks like for you now.
Mm-hmm. I'm also excited to learn about the mindset coaching that you've been really interested in lately. Like, seems a lot of people, once they get the physical skills more or less handled, and those things kind of are second nature, really comes down to mindset. And I'm curious what your philosophies are in that respect. You bet.
Yeah, and I'm excited to kind of continue that conversation that we were having before the show started, which is the sandbags, and just kind of seeing where your training has gone since no longer competing in CrossFit, and just kind of where your sustainability and your strength is coming from right now.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So before we get going, what's a little bit of the background? Competing in CrossFit, I don't know if that journey starts a little bit before there. Starting brute strength, now working against gravity, all the things.
Yeah, so in 2009, I started doing CrossFit. I had just come out of drug rehabilitation, and then I ran a marathon, got really sick of running, and found CrossFit. In 2011, I competed in the games for the first time, and then in 12 and 13, we won the CrossFit Games. In 2014, we founded Brute Strength, or co-founded Brute Strength, and that's where it all started for me. So at first, all we did was we were coaching people one-on-one that wanted to compete in the CrossFit Games. They wanted to go to regionals, they wanted to go to the games, and very quickly we realized that there aren't that many people out there trying to do that, right?
Yeah.
So we branched out into helping a lot of different kinds of people. So we started training people to look better naked, or just get stronger, or just be fitter for life.
I love it.
That's awesome. Brute strength is where are they out of exactly? Where's the
interwebs.
the matrix?
You're actually in it right now.
Yeah.
Currently, you're there.
Yeah. Well, you work with Sean from Active Life RX.
We do, yeah.
Yeah. Who's somebody I've been talking to recently. That's
yeah. Sean is the man.
Yeah,
Sean is the man.
Very smart dude.
Yeah, we brought him on sometime in 2015. Kind of the genesis and the reason why we started the company in the first place is I looked around and I saw a lot of coaches that were trying to be the expert in every different area of the sport of fitness. And I had just come from a strength and conditioning background coaching at LSU, and I was working with football players. And a football player has, a quarterback has his position coach, he has an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. They have all of these coaches, these experts, all creating a program together to help these athletes progress as quickly as possible. That didn't exist in the CrossFit space, so we wanted to do that. We wanted to create a team that would collaborate with one another to just stay in their lane and do the best possible job in all of these disciplines.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Sean, back to Sean.
Yeah.
We brought Sean on to be like the injury prevention and movement guy. And he just started auditing all of our programming and making sure we didn't have any like discrepancies between pulling and pushing and unilateral versus bilateral. He just made sure that we're building balanced athletes.
Yeah, biomechanical, like fact checking.
Exactly.
That's cool. That's awesome.
You were talking in your intro. I actually did not know about coming out of the drug rehabilitation and finding CrossFit. What does that transition look like, and maybe a little bit of the backstory if you're comfortable talking about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I left Louisiana, where I grew up when I was 17, and went to a wilderness therapy program in Utah. And I spent the next 18 months in a bunch of different therapy programs, and I recovered fully. I had so I ran that marathon, and I had a really bad relapse right after, because all of a sudden I didn't have any physical goal, and I didn't have anything that I was real focused on or anything that was really driving me forward. And I had always been involved in sports, and I've always been a very type A person. And so all of a sudden I didn't have this goal, this carrot to drive me forward, and I relapsed really, really bad, like way worse than I ever was. Luckily, I had a really strong support system. I was still in like a halfway house, so I had good therapists and things like that. And someone introduced me to CrossFit, and it was perfect timing. I had already recommitted myself to sobriety and to my own recovery, and then now all of a sudden I had this thing that I just quickly got addicted to, right? Like so many other people.
Totally.
There were so many things that I could strive for mastery towards. I could work towards mastering, and I just got addicted to competing in the gym.
Yeah.
It played a huge part in my early recovery.
I think a lot of people, that addiction thing, I think a lot of people have it. I'm probably one of those
everyone
people.
has it.
Everybody has an addiction,
And
Most people, it's work.
Yeah, well,
sugar.
I spent a lot of time hanging on bars for a lot. I got really good at that for a long time, and then all of a sudden, like, competing in CrossFit, and I was like, ooh, there's a different thing. I can use this tool. It's probably a little bit healthier for me.
Right. You said hanging out in bars?
Yeah, it was just that was like I worked out and trained and all that, but like living for the weekends and stuff, it's like it's a very common thing, and it's like, man, if you can just use those skills, you don't have to go to the bar every weekend, or you don't have to go down the negative path. You can use that as a positive in your life. It's a really interesting thing. So how'd you get to Utah and meet Tommy?
So my parents sent me to a wilderness therapy program in the mountains. Yeah, and so I decided to go to college after I graduated from all of the treatment programs and found CrossFit. Yeah. And I competed against Tommy at some point, and I almost beat him.
Yeah.
And it caught his eye, and he said, hey, you want to come to my gym and start a team? And so that's how it started.
Very cool.
That's awesome. What'd you almost beat him in?
It was an event that he put on called Fitness Elevated. And there were all body weight and endurance workouts in the beginning of the day, which is my jam, and then all of the heavy stuff towards the end of the day or the beginning of the day. And so he ended up destroying me. Yeah. Like real bad. But I was beating him for long enough to really catch his eye.
Well, you guys were in like a little hotbed out there for a long time, and I don't know, but is it near the training center, the Olympic training center that he's at? I don't.
Which, the speed skating center?
I don't know exactly.
The OTC is in Colorado.
Well, there's one for So
there's a speed skating center somewhere in Salt Lake City, and then a lot of winter sports in Park City.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, there was like this sweet hotbed that he created out there for a very long time.
It wasn't.
There was a lot of people that kind of came out of.
Yeah, we got lucky. There was like a D1 gymnast named Tiffany Hendrickson, who's phenomenal.
Yep.
Adrian Conway was a D1 athlete.
Savage.
We had all of these D1 athletes just all over Salt Lake City, and when we formed that team, we recruited all of them, right?
Yeah.
And we
you guys
all
were dominant.
we all leveled
Yeah.
each other up, and we
Yeah.
really pushed each other. But yeah,
So-
Tommy was definitely that leader.
Yeah, totally.
So how do you go from finding CrossFit and realizing it's this thing that's going to be kind of the new focus, and it gets you out of this dark spot in your life, and then you go from being passionate about it, thinking it's a fun thing to do, to all of a sudden I'm a 2-time games champion. Like, what does that path look like?
Yeah, it was really, really gradual, man. It was never. I can't remember ever deciding, okay, now I'm going to take this really seriously or become a professional. I think it was. I started out just like anyone else. I was like last place in the gym every single day, and I said, I just want to beat so and so, right? I want to beat like at least one person on the board today, and that turned into I want to beat 5 people or 10 people. And at some point in that first year, I got to a place where I was competing against the best guy in the gym named Rob Schaefer, and I just wanted to beat him every single day. And so it just organically turned into this competing with whoever I was up against. And at some point, I met Tommy. He invited Rob and I to move to his gym, and we just started a team there. And the first year it was 2011. We had a team of 6 that placed 9th at the games. And the next year, Tommy said that he wanted to join the team, and we were going to recruit as many people as we could to make a super team. And so it just happened really organically.
And then did you ever try to make a run at individual?
Never. I think mostly because I was just lucky enough to always be around really good teams, and then I just never enjoyed doing CrossFit for myself as much as for a team. I would never push myself as hard.
I remember thinking when you guys went team like multiple years in a row, I was like, oh, they actually figured it out. They're the only people actually making a single dollar doing this thing. Like, they were like,
Not
oh, let's
many.
just do the team, the thing that no one's paying attention to, win it a whole bunch of times, and we'll make more money at this than everyone. Even if it's like $5, you're
That's
making more
hilarious.
money than everyone back in the day in CrossFit.
I guarantee you that never crossed our mind.
It crossed my
we
mind.
did
I was
not
like, they're
make a lot
so
of money.
smart. Why am I working so hard right now to do this individual thing?
Hey,
They're
actually
making
back
dozens
then
of
it
dollars.
was yeah, right.
Dozens
for a
of
college kid, that was a ton for me. I think we made we split like $60,000 the second year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
With-
felt
That's
rich.
more than
With 6
dozens of
people?
dollars.
With
Yeah.
6 people.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid.
Something like that.
I mean,
Something around there.
that's more
Yeah.
than as a professional fighter. I made
Yeah.
less than $10,000 a year for the first 4 years of professional fighting.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
mean, getting your face pounded in and being
Oh,
like,
shit.
I made $500 tonight because I won.
Yeah.
You know?
On your way to the hospital.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
totally beat up. I need stitches. It's going to cost you $5,000 in medical bills.
Just
Jeez.
yeah, about that.
Yeah. When did the coaching piece kick in?
And I mean, almost as soon as I started doing CrossFit,
Gotcha.
I started coaching classes. And then after we won in 2012, I was offered a job at Southern Utah University, coaching soccer, track and field, gymnastics. And so I went that route, and really, that's when I really fell in love with coaching and anatomy and physiology and just learning how the human body works. From there, I went on to coach at Louisiana State University, which I grew up just idolizing those guys. So that was a dream come true.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. What sports did you work with at LSU?
Football, baseball, soccer, volleyball.
Were you just in the not just, but I mean, were you in the weight room? Is that kind of like
Exactly.
that was your home?
Yep.
That's cool.
So if that was a dream come true, what pulled you away from that eventually?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So I found that it was super exciting and stimulating, right? I was working with literally the best athletes on the planet. I mean, a lot of Olympians and people that would go on to play in the NFL and the MLB. Very, very exciting. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel, it wasn't very fulfilling to me to take the top 0.001% and make them 0.001% better, right?
Yeah.
For me, I wanted to I wanted to impact a lot more people than just, say, 100 football players. I wanted to impact more people, and I wanted to impact a broader range of people. And I think I'm a really shitty employee. I don't like to be told what to do.
Yeah.
I don't like politics. I don't like, the whole good old boy mentality where you just have to get in line and just work your ass off for 20 years maybe to get a shot.
Yeah.
That's never really vibed real well for me. So it made sense for me to try starting my own business.
It's cool that you know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people struggle their whole life finding a place, and then you're like, wait, I'm a shitty employee, so I better be my own damn boss. Check. I think I had like 32 jobs before I figured that out. I was like, I'm not good at this working for other people.
Maybe it's not the job, it's me now.
It's me.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for this.
I'm actually unhireable.
They don't see the value.
Yeah.
I'm totally unhireable.
They don't get it.
So that led into brute strength, and you're literally working with some of the top CrossFit athletes in the country at that time.
Yes.
What does that process look like, and what are you kind of learning along the way there?
Learning now?
Well, I mean, in the growth from being in the games, coaching, and now all of a sudden you're working with like the highest level athletes in the sport at the time. That progression's kind of crazy, and then all of a sudden now you're having to elevate your game to an even higher level. How do you go from kind of that college piece and where you're at there, and then now all of a sudden the exposure at the games?
Totally. One of the biggest things I've learned is that whether it's a CrossFit Games champion or an Olympian, or it's just like your mom or dad or an average Joe, the training of your mind is absolutely the most important, right? I love the concept of small hinges swing big doors. The smallest little tweak in your mindset, again, no matter what level you're on, can have an enormous impact on your life and your performance in general. So it's been really fulfilling and gratifying for me as I'm trying to teach my clients how to level up their mindset. I have to constantly be working on my own, right? Because I can't teach what I don't know. And one of the biggest things that I teach people is that it all starts with self-awareness, right? We can't change what we're not aware of. So I teach mindfulness. I teach different practices for them to start to explore the things that they don't know. Yeah. And they start to be able to access a larger part of their capabilities.
I love that. What are those practices?
So one of the big ones is just journaling. So beautiful. It's one thing to just be caught up in your own head, constantly thinking about what's going on, constantly be caught up in your emotions, and it's another to externalize what you're actually thinking. And through the practice of consistently journaling, you can kind of build on what you're thinking, and you can really explore what's actually going on in your mind, right? So it's a really easy, practical practice.
Yeah. The first time I met you, we talked a lot about the meditation piece, and I think we were kind of both going through that journey of like learning this process. Is that still something you're after?
100%, man. I mean, it's one of the fundamentals of what I do to practice or to train my own mind. Somebody recently asked me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how big of an effect do you think meditation actually has on your life? And honestly, I think it's like a 2 or a 3, right? It's pretty low if you just take meditation alone.
Right.
But I think it's the base, again, for all other mindset work, whether it be focus or clarity or whatever that may be. Having a clear mind and the ability to focus and be present is the base of all of it.
Even if it's not like the present piece, just the ability to kind of sit still and just focus on a single thing. I mean, even if I have my computer open and the phone is near me, I can get locked into a lot of work, and I feel really good about it, and then I'm like, dude, something cool probably happened on Instagram. I got to check that out. And you don't actually realize how screwy your brain is until you sit still and, like, watch it go wild.
Right.
Dude, it's a really interesting process, I think, when people finally actually get to a point. It doesn't matter if, like, maybe you're getting, like, 5% better, and that's, like, the total amount that meditation actually will, like, impact your life. But that 5% will at least bring a little bit of awareness to how crazy everything else is. So you just become aware so you can be just a tad bit more focused every day.
Right. Have y'all read the book Deep Work?
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
so
it's
one of the biggest things in there is like taking control of your technology, because one of the biggest obstacles that gets in the way of us being focused and being present is the constant distraction, the notifications, the text messages, all of the shit on our phones that if we allow ourselves to, we're constantly focusing on the phone, refocusing on what we're doing, focusing on the phone, refocusing on what we're doing. So that's a very tactical way to practice being more present and more focused. Yeah.
One thing that I really like to do is, like, when we flew out to Austin, I flew by myself. Didn't have any team members flying with me. Didn't have my family with me, and I specifically don't get the Wi-Fi on the plane on purpose. And so that allows me the opportunity to like be like solitary for like an hour or two at a time, depending on how long the flight is, where I can just brainstorm or just work on something creative where there's no distractions. I can't check my email. There's no text messages coming in. My phone's on airplane mode, or I'm just not looking at it at all. And I can just sit there and I can journal, or I can just make like big lists or just brainstorm ideas or like think of like creative things for the future. But having that condition where I'm on an airplane, I got my headphones in, no one's talking to me, and there's no opportunity for anyone else to get a hold of me, like has that space available for 3 hours without the option to do anything else.
Right. You can actually get into a flow state. I find it really interesting to try to produce those same conditions as often as possible in life. And it's really difficult when you don't have this, when you're not in a cabin or something like that. It can be really difficult.
A bubble. Yeah.
Right.
With this, everything I'm hearing, is a lot of this, did any of this, actually, I should say, come from your time in your rehab, like with like the mindfulness and just kind of, was that something that was kind of installed in you?
One of the first days in the inpatient treatment that I did was try mindfulness, because I learned really early on that I had clinical anxiety. And it showed up as social anxiety, and I couldn't sleep, and my mind was just constantly going. The drugs were gone, and now my mind was just constantly going.
Right.
And so they showed it to me, and for the first probably 6 months, I was like, what the fuck is this mindfulness thing?
Right.
I'm just thinking the whole time.
Because you're like 17, 18 at this time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm just pissed at the world, and I felt like I got nothing out of it. But I cultivated this obsession with my own mind, understanding my own mind, and it's led to me just loving to teach other people about it.
That's awesome. I had a brother who went through rehab, and I went to a couple of sessions with him, and I noticed that they talked a lot about mindfulness, and they took like moments of silence and like, create thoughts and, and then write them down and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
So as I'm hearing it, I'm like, that's a great way to keep yourself in this place, but then to help others, reach a new level. Although they may not be dealing with an addiction, they have a goal, right? And the goal when you have an addiction is to not be addicted to this drug. So it's like being able just to goal orientate yourself through that mindfulness is awesome.
Yeah.
You've taken something that was really shitty and you've just made it really awesome.
Right.
That's cool.
How do you start to implement this stuff into more of like a business setting, I guess? Business is wild in its own right, but when you're working with companies or working with people that are, you're running some of the coaching stuff at Working Against Gravity. Is this something you guys talk about inside the company of how do we focus, how do we create space, how does that influence your business and the way that you're coaching people?
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer that anything we want to teach our clients, we have to teach our teams first, right?
Yeah.
It has to be a top-down approach. And about a year and a half ago, I started doing these bi-weekly team updates where first I'll do some shout outs to people in the company that are doing really well or they did something awesome for the team. Then I'll talk about like what we're working on immediately, what's kind of out in the future. And then at the end, I will always talk about kind of what's on my mind or what I'm learning right now. And that's when I really have started to indoctrinate like our beliefs and start to build that culture of what we believe in, which is like mindfulness and growth mindset and just always striving for excellence in every area of our life. So that's been a really tactical way that I've taught our team, what I'm kind of thinking. And then we started creating just a ton of content via emails and all of these things that we start to indoctrinate all of our clients with on any program that they sign up on.
I love it. Carol Dweck, go find that book, Mindset, The Growth Mindset. It's where it's
Phenomenal.
at.
And deep work. I got to get deep work.
Man, it's one of the best I've read in the last year.
It sounds a little bit like Unplugged a little bit. I mean, in the sense of, just a little, but
I wouldn't compare it to that.
Okay.
It's very, very tactical.
Got it.
Very tactical.
It's really solid. The guy's got another one, So Good They Can't Ignore You.
Is that the same?
Yeah.
Same
guy.
Okay.
Really
I'll check
awesome.
it out.
He's got a nice library in his house. I've seen the books.
Nice.
So I can confirm that Anders reads.
I feel so smart right now.
He's read all the titles.
Yeah.
I've read all the titles.
I have a lot of books. I haven't read any of them. But I want to get back into some strength and conditioning. Where's your training out? What are you doing these days for working out?
I am very focused on feeling good.
Damn. See, all of us old people, dude.
Old? You just turned 35 today.
Yeah, but after you lift all the weights, oh, look at that. It made it into the show.
Got him.
Look at that. Look at that. You get that on camera? 35 today. Damn. Better say happy birthday in the future.
Right, in the future. From the past.
Yeah. Dude, we all do this CrossFit thing, and you're like, oh, it's really healthy for us, right? We're in great shape, and then you're just broken.
Why do I hurt all the time?
Why is everything hurt so bad?
And I'm definitely still doing CrossFit.
Yeah.
I'm using the barbell way less, and I'm hanging on a bar way less.
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to over pattern things over and over and over and over. Right. I was telling him before we started, I'm really into heavy sandbags. I fucking love them. I can go super hard and I don't feel like my joints don't hurt when I'm done. I feel like I just used as much power as I possibly could, and I don't hurt.
Yeah. It's not a great tool. Like, I mean, it's a great tool for being in shape, but it's not really a great tool for lifting all the weights. It's really challenging. A 100-pound sandbag is fucking hard.
Yes.
100-pound barbell, oh, we can throw that anywhere you want. Like, that's easy.
Yep.
It's great for total body strength. It'd be hard to do bodybuilding with sandbags.
That'd be interesting.
Depends what your goals are, though.
He wants to argue that.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, I mean, what I think,
do it, but it's not very common.
What I think is interesting is that we try to use a barbell which is symmetrical, and we're not symmetrical. So then we try to force symmetry, and like sandbags and unilateral lifting and like that, like, you know, uneven load type stuff actually is more conducive to like our asymmetric design.
It's actually more functional.
It's actually
more
functional.
Seems more functional.
Yeah. And I have the same experience with sandbags in the sense of like I feel less beat up, you know, squatting, yet I feel the same amount of like fatigue or the stimulation in my legs, or, you know, carrying a bag or pressing it overhead and like trying to manipulate 100 pounds that's like shifting feels more natural to me than like pressing a barbell that's so fixed.
Totally.
Where it's like my left arm is definitely not equal to my right arm. Yeah. I mean, I've tore this thing multiple times, you know, so it's like, but you could keep up with the right guy. Yeah. You know, it's like, not really. Not totally.
You get to hide it with the barbell because it's a good tool.
Yeah, totally.
I'll tell you what, I'm going through a little bit of a transition where I'm kind of realizing that without an external goal, training can be really fucking hard.
Yeah.
You know, without like training for regionals or training for some event, it can be hard to just grind away. So I'm definitely moving towards signing up for some kind of like intense adventure race or something. That sounds exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen these new Tough Mudder
Injuries
X's?
are coming. Here you go. Here come the injuries.
Yeah,
back to training again.
Go to the Spartan World Championships with us this year.
Oh, that'd be
Come
cool.
hang out.
Well, tell me about it.
It's the Spartan Race World Championships.
How long is it?
Last year we did it. We went to Tahoe. It was like 17 miles, something like that. The first 6 miles, like you start in the village in Tahoe, and then you run up past the chairlift. So like the first 6 miles, like it's uphill the whole fucking way. It took us like 2.5 hours. Something like that. It took us a long time. Plus there's obstacles along the way. Plus it's in the mountains. Like you get wet, you get fucking super cold. They got to figure out how much to wear as far as clothing and whatnot. But I mean, we weren't running it fast. We're running it in a group of like 6 people. You know, so it takes us hours and hours and hours to do it, but phenomenally fun. Like one of the most fun things I've ever done. Plus, you get to the top of the fucking mountain and the view is just fucking amazing on the way back down. So, I mean, it's a 17-mile race. It's going to take you hours. That's very endurance-y. You know, way down the spectrum from doing, you know, heavy sandbags.
Yeah.
But really, really fun. So we go there, we podcast with a bunch of people while we're there, and then we run the race, and it's a killer time.
Hell yeah.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds great.
Tough Mudder just came out with one too called like Tough Mudder X.
Yeah, it's like a CrossFit adventure race type
my buddy Hunter McIntyre was like, dude, check this out. This is perfect for you. It's not like barbell skills at all, but it's like a sandbag, clean, press, and it's a 1 mile course with 10 stations that are very intense, heavy lifting, or, you know, something like a wall balls with like a 35-pound ball, and you got to get X, and then you go to the next station.
I heard he's like the Matt Frazier of that thing.
Yeah.
Like he just destroys everyone.
He invited me up to his canyon, and it was like a power move. In like 5 minutes, he just destroyed me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so the next day, I'm like, let's do some of my movement stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, how the hell do you move like that? I'm like, I don't know how the hell you run like that.
He's a big dude, too.
Oh, yeah.
200 pounds, 200 5-minute miles.
200-pound pony, whatever he
Bulk pony.
Bulk pony.
Love that guy.
Macho man.
Oh, yeah, he came out to my house. I was living in San Diego, like off the a little bit away from the coast in the hills. We took the 85-pound giant cambered bar from my gym in my garage and like went running in the hills with it for for hours, and he was just like, I'll carry it.
Nice.
We're all trying to keep up with him, always carrying this big fucking bar, like taking it through rivers and creeks. And
No shit.
dude, he was all about it.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's just one of the dudes that's ready to go at all times.
Well, he started training for the CrossFit Games like last year, and he was like, I'm not even going to really like do the CrossFit. I'm just going to do the lifts,
Yeah,
and then I'm going to try to compete.
It's like
He's
his
like,
off-season
and then he
program.
goes, wait, this is way harder than I thought.
Well, yeah, that'd be a wake-up call.
He just can't lift the weights that those guys are doing, but he's got a big engine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. We went to a retreat at his house or something, and it was like, let's start this off with a 12-mile hike. And I was like, where's the retreat part? Are we going to talk? Is anyone going to have a goal, or are we just going to go try and bury ourselves in the Malibu mountains? So weird.
So what does a typical Sandbag workout look like for you?
So a couple hours, actually right before I came here, I did 800-meter run, 45 burpee pull-ups, 30 cleans with the bag.
It
So
looks like
pick
you
it
got
up,
a fresh
put it
pump,
over.
so yeah.
Right?
Right?
I had to, man. I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, who's the dude with the arms walking in the gym?
Right.
It was our next guest. I guess.
I hope we get to interview him.
Yeah.
Today's your day.
yeah, man.
Yeah. So it's not a full workout exclusively with sandbags. You're
Yeah,
working
almost.
into Metcons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like that's the hardest part of the workout for sure. Yeah.
When you're training like that, do you do accessory lifting? Like, do you get in some bicep curls? Do you get in some triceps?
Honestly, no, man.
Okay.
I'm in and out right now.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but that's how it is right now.
Yeah. Your elbows feel good?
I feel great.
Awesome.
I feel awesome.
First
dude.
time, injury-free, pain-free.
Yeah.
Right on. When we get back, I want to dig into a little bit of the nutrition stuff you're doing with working against gravity.
Let's do it.
Right on.
Go.
Strong Coffee Company is a community built by people like you. People that take the time to educate and to apply all things that matter. Whether you're in the gym, the office, or at home, we want to help make you better. Introducing our full, rich, instant nutritional energy drink, the Cafe Latte. Visit strongcoffeecompany.com. Use BBS20 to receive 20% off today.
Yeah. Welcome back to Barbell Shrugged.
I'm glad we hashed that out.
We're still here.
We were handling some real business during the break. We had to build our own confidence back. We got some food. We're hanging out with Michael Cazayoux.
Mackle.
My little sister
Mackle.
called me that.
Really?
When she was a good like 1 or 2.
Nice. At least
Yeah,
I'm on that
Mackle.
level.
That's what Ashley Bledsoe.
He just called you a
Mike
girl.
Bledsoe's wife calls him.
That's what
Mackle.
happened.
Mackle.
Yeah,
Who
that's
does?
it, dude?
Bledsoe?
Ashley. No, Ashley.
Oh, Ashley.
Yeah, Mackle.
Oh, she's got the Oklahoma accent going.
She's from Texas. Yeah.
Is
Her
it?
parents live in Oklahoma now, but yeah,
Gotcha.
she's from Texas. So she says things
She's
like
got that
like,
draw.
Got that draw,
Curves
yeah,
lot.
Oh.
Curves lot. Yeah.
I love that.
She's awesome.
Right on, man. Well, one thing that I'm really stoked to talk to you about is you've built a couple pretty good-sized online businesses here. From brute strength, and now you're working against gravity. Got that right.
Dude, I just recorded our first audiobook, and I had to say working against gravity over and over
Yeah.
and over. Coming from the South, that's fucking hard.
Yeah.
I just want to
against-
draw and just shorten them all.
How would you
Working
like
against
to say it?
gravity.
Wag.
Working against gravity.
Working.
Working. You're working against gravity.
But
Right
what-
on. Well, what's the deal
Yeah.
there? You got an audiobook? That's dope.
Yeah, we're turning this really huge piece of free content into an audio version that we're putting on Amazon. So it's our entire philosophy on tracking macros, on all of the education, tips, tricks, a bunch of different stuff on audio. It'll be out in the next month.
Wait, this is for working against gravity, or this is for brute?
Working against
Working
gravity.
against
Yeah.
gravity.
WAG.
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 Carbohydrates.
Wag.
Yes.
Okay,
But-
it's wag from now on.
Yeah, so
Wag.
you've been kind of at the top of the food chain in both of these companies, and lots of employees, lots of coaches. Kind of starting at the beginning, what are some of the lessons learned building those? And we're definitely going to get in managing these things and continuing to keep. What was so cool about, I remember when Brute Strength hit, there was just like this really cool culture that you guys created. And Adee's got the same thing going. You guys are doing this together now. But maintaining culture as things grow to a much larger business, and maintaining that same culture is a really difficult thing. But how did that start at Brute? What are some of the lessons learned that you're using now at WAG? Working against gravity.
Yeah, just to be clear, we grew these companies independently of each other. Well, we met really early on when we started them.
Matchmaker.
But I wasn't exactly the barbell matchmaker.
Adee always reminds me.
Exactly. We owe you so much. So we met very early on when we started the companies, but I didn't join the WAG team until about 6 months ago. With that said, how do we build culture? I think one of the things that we've been really good about is understanding our own strengths and weaknesses, right? I think a lot of entrepreneurs, and this is really well summarized in the book, The E-Myth, entrepreneurs make the mistake of trying to do everything themselves, right?
Yeah.
They start out as the CrossFit coach and the box owner and the accountant and the manager. They try to do everything themselves. We are really good at understanding what we're good at and hopefully better at understanding what we suck at and finding talented people that can do an even better job at all of these things that we're not good at than us. So it's been a process, right? We as soon as we can afford to hire out something that we suck at, we do. For me, I'm a generalist, right? Physically, I'm a generalist. That's why I was good at CrossFit, and I'm a generalist when it comes to business. I don't consider myself great at anything, so I end up hiring out just about everything. I've learned that I'm really good at providing energy for new projects, getting things started, and I feel really confident making decisions. So when we don't know what to do, I feel confident providing the vision and the direction. Most other things, somebody else does. Anything that has to do with organization or attention to detail, I can't touch it, right? And most people get stuck spending 90% of their energy doing 20% of the activities, such as, like in my case, I would spend all of that energy trying to organize or keep things, like pay attention to details and all of that kind of stuff. As soon as I started hiring out those types of things, like a director of operations, so much of my energy freed up so that I can spend more time communicating with the team, leading the team, doing the podcast, reaching out to our clients, all of that stuff that I really, really love to do.
Right on. And what the managing of employees is never an easy thing, especially coaches. And I know that in Working Against Gravity, you guys have kind of created a structure with your coaches where they even have a specialty, whether it's a personality, a methodology that they're using. But how do you guys kind of go about that with your coaches in the training process that you put them through to get them up to speed so that you actually are able to trust them taking on their own clients?
Another thing, I want to clear this up. We're moving towards where we want coaches with different specialties. So we want, just as we did with Brood, right? We have all these experts in different fields. We want to create a team where we have an expert in gut health. We have an expert in micronutrients, which is a huge topic. But we want a team of these experts. Right now, what we are experts on is behavior change, right? And lifestyle change. And so we have a very rigorous training program that takes about 8 to 12 weeks to go through, and it's a 4-stage program that all of our coaches go through, and they basically get their hand held by one of our head coaches throughout the whole process, and they get feedback on how they're doing, whether it be on their writing or the actual content of what they're saying in their sample questions, and they just get a ton of feedback on how to be a better coach.
Nice. Yeah, and that's not easy because everything you guys do is remote. Everything's online. So your coaches are scattered around the country, maybe even the world?
Yes, the world.
So,
we have people in like Germany and Canada and Mexico.
International fame. But how does that process look? Because everything being online, I think a lot of people get into the online business and they think like all of the people are out here. We can service all of them. Somebody's going to want to buy it, but really dialing that in, and then even with your coaches, like it's really challenging to find really quality people, and there's something to being in a room. One of the reasons we like and doing these interviews in person is like there's something to being in a room and feeling that energy and like feeling that commitment level to actually caring about the product and what they're putting into being a part of your team. How do you guys decide and make those really hard decisions when it comes to personnel.
A couple things. One, I think Adee and I learned this from you guys. Like, the best place to hire is from within. So what we started to do is just blast our email list saying we're hiring a marketing guy, we're hiring a coach. And at WAG, we've got a list of well over 100 people always ready to start the application process.
Yeah.
From people that have had their lives changed by the program. Like, there's no better candidate for it. They know the culture, they understand it, and they are so passionate about what we do because they just lost a bunch of weight, or they changed their relationship with food or their marriage or whatever it is that they got by being a client. Now they're just fired up. They're potentially the best employees on the planet.
They're already committed to that process.
We do some other cool things, like we make people send in a video as part of their application, and that weeds out a lot of people that really don't care. We have some fun questions like that. And then in terms of how to create culture without actually being in person, that's something that we're constantly working on.
Yeah.
There's no substitute for the things that happen in between the meetings and like productive sessions. So I think one of the biggest things that builds trust in relationships is like things that happen at lunch or at the coffee machine or whatever, like just talking about life, like catching up. And we don't get a lot of that. So one thing that's starting to happen is we're having, I don't know, what's the opposite of an exodus? We're having a lot of
the opposite
people,
of exodus.
We're having a lot of people, a lot of staff members. What'd you say?
No. We just made a word up.
Making words up.
Making shit up.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg over here.
Yeah.
So we're having a lot of our staff just organically start to move to town. And on Mondays, the whole team comes to our house and we just work. We don't have any like formal trust building exercises or anything, but we're getting to know each other better, and we're actually forming trust, and it's been amazing.
That probably adds an element of fun to what you do. Like running an online company, if you're just like on your laptop at a coffee shop by yourself all day long, every day, that shit gets old really quick.
Absolutely.
The voice of experience over here, that is not fun for very long.
Yeah.
Like having your team around it really is nice.
So what we started to hear, and this definitely resonates with me, is that everybody's starting to feel a little bit lonely because they're at home, they're not interacting with people on a daily basis, and so they're missing something in their lives. So we're definitely encouraging people to move closer to us.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm friends with a couple people who own companies that they have satellite employees just everywhere.
Yep.
And building that culture is challenging. Have you guys ever like big like group meetups, like in the future, like where you just put together a whole summit type thing?
Yeah, we do one every single year in Austin.
Oh.
And people get together, and you would think it's like a family reunion. These people fucking love each other, man.
That's awesome.
It is so cool to be a part of.
I have one employee, and she's like lives in Washington. I'm in Venice. And she's like, I feel like I'm on an island out here. But yet, when I call her, instead of email her, she'll be like,
text me.
Like, right.
Oh, really? Don't talk to me.
No, pretty much. It's kind of like, this isn't as, proactive by you having a conversation with me. Like, this conversation's longer than a 30-second email read, where then I could execute. I'm like, well, then don't tell me you're on an island.
Right.
I mean, if you want engagement, I'm giving you engagement. I'm calling you. And
I feel like you gotta call them anyway. And
Oh, I'm not stopping.
We're catching up right now, whether you like it or not.
Because I feel like on an island.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure you do too at some times.
Totally.
Yeah.
Dude, on our team with key team members, I set up a weekly call where we talk for 30 minutes to an hour once a week, no matter what. It doesn't matter if we have something to talk about. And that has been enormously helpful for our company.
Yeah.
When you called me, it made me feel super good.
Yeah,
totally. He called me and he was like, I feel like we should talk once a week. And I'm like, this is what it's like to be on a team again.
Nice.
Tears God. That's very cool.
You lose that just hangout vibe, and everything just becomes such a work conversation.
Exactly.
And I think the majority of the people, pretty much everyone that I've ever worked with, was some sort of gym relationship, and we were like, we should do this. We should make this cooler. How do we make it cooler? Let's go into business together.
Nice. By the way, you can do that with people that aren't on your business team. Like I do that with my little brother.
Oh yeah.
Like he lives in Australia. We talk once a week.
Got to check in.
Do y'all have it like set on the schedule, same time?
Set time.
That's
on
awesome.
the
That's the brother that
every week.
That's the brother that we just met at the Naval.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Naval Yard. Yeah,
That's right.
Really nice guy. Yeah. That's cool. It's very cool that you do that. People sometimes are a little shocked. There was this great meme where it was like the stages of someone calling you. Right, we're in a time where everybody texts. It was kind of like the stages of like what's going on in your mind, like these 7 stages of like, oh no, I don't want to talk to this person. Oh no, why are they calling? Right, it was like all these like kind of denial things, and then it was like, I'm not picking it up. What was the last one? or it was like text them, call me, or text me. You know, like text them, text me. You know, it was like
can't talk now.
Yeah, can't talk now kind of thing.
It's like if someone calls you don't pick up, and they leave you a voicemail. You're like, what? Why didn't you just hang up the phone and text me?
This is an emergency.
This is America, 2018.
I turned my voicemail off years ago. I just don't do it.
Yeah, you don't have it at all.
I do not do voicemail.
Mine says
if
if
someone
you're
calls
getting
me and I don't
this,
pick up
send me
and
a
they don't
text.
text me, they're not my friend.
Yeah.
Or they didn't.
They don't know
Or they
me.
didn't need me.
Yeah.
They don't know me.
Mine, mine literally says, send me a text. I don't know. Don't leave a voicemail. I'm going to delete it.
Right.
Or not check in. You said you're kind of working on the higher vision side of working against gravity. What does that look like, and where are you guys going to be in 5 years, or what is kind of the big vision?
Yeah, man. Our goal is by 2020, the Olympics. We want 20,000 clients, and we want the affiliate program that we're building to be in every CrossFit gym in the country.
Awesome. All of them.
That's an amazing goal to have.
All of them.
There you go. What does that process look like building the affiliate side?
Well, right now it looks like we just launched it, and we're selecting 5 people to test it out so that when it goes public, there aren't like – so we know that things are going to break, and we want to test it out with a smaller group first so that it doesn't break with a lot of people all at once.
Yeah.
So we're going through that right now, and I'm fired up about it. We have a ton of new – like at first we were just going to give them a little bit of – marketing materials, and now we have like a huge social media package and email package that they can just use to promote the program.
Yeah.
And I mean, the coaching side of it, we feel incredibly confident about because it's the same exact one that our coaches go through.
Nice.
People love the interaction that they get with their coaches, so now we're going to just give it to gyms.
Nice. Is there a rollout plan? And so 5 people that are listening that may be owning gyms, it's a really good idea sometimes to start small, even though we all think, man, how are we going to get to this place where we can pay ourselves, or how do we grow and get to 300 members so quickly? It's like, well, you're also going to fail a lot along the way, and learning those lessons while you're small is a lot easier than learning them when there's 300 people or 500 coaches or wherever the hell you go. How many coaches are you guys expecting when you're at 20,000 people?
Oh, shit. Putting me on the spot. That would be
math.
I think 250.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of systems in place to keep 250 coaches happy.
Yeah, I don't think that part will be the obstacle at all. It's the marketing.
Yeah.
For almost 3 years, we did very, very little marketing, 0 paid marketing, and now there's a ton of competition in the space, right? There's so many new businesses, so we actually have to do some marketing to grow. Yeah. And it's super fun, but the management side, I feel super confident in.
Yeah.
When you said you have, I'm sorry, and you said you have so many employees that are, I mean, not employees, but like people in waiting almost that want to just work for you.
Yes.
Where like right now, your wife said that you're somewhere around like 28, like 28 coaches.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great problem to have.
Right.
Oh, we have a bunch of people that are awesome that want to work for us that have great success stories of their own from us. Yeah, that's an awesome thing.
And the quality piece, that is something that's like a superpower of Adee's, right?
Yeah.
Where we could grow much more quickly. Surprising to most people, but we could grow more quickly, and she is constantly holding us back because she wants the quality to be through the fucking roof, right?
That's awesome.
And that's why we get the rave reviews that we get. It's because of that commitment to serving people.
Yeah. It's a really challenging process as a business owner to not grow as fast as you can, because you see those revenue dollars come in, but the problems on the back end of that can become almost insurmountable if it's systemically rooted and there's a big problem getting people into or in that scaling model.
Right. I compliment her, praise her on this all the time, where I tell her she's one of the most ethical people that I've ever met. The decisions that she makes for our clients and for for our team are just, she's always looking for what's the best for them. You know, it's really cool to be a part of.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for the affiliate owner?
Which part?
For the gym owner that takes on your program,
Okay.
like what does it look like for them? Like what's the benefit to them and to their clients?
So the number one,
To the athletes that are already in their
and y'all
gym.
can speak to this. I believe that the number one issue that CrossFit gym owners have, that's not the thing. So people start doing CrossFit, and what do they want? They want to change their bodies. So they have the fitness side of it, but they also need some kind of advice on their nutrition, right? And what CrossFit gym owners have at their disposal right now is some knowledge, but not a system to give to their clients, right? So what we're giving them is a system to be able to coach their clients to have a better relationship with food and to reach their goals so much more quickly. We've all heard of some, in some way, that abs are made in the kitchen, right? Or 90% of what you look like is in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. So we're giving people the tools to help people change their relationship to food.
Mm-hmm. So is it the coaches at the gym that are doing the coaching, or is it still your coaches?
So the gym will provide a coach. We will train the coach. We will give them the marketing materials. We will give them the software to use. And then we'll just give them a bunch of ongoing support to help them coach their clients.
So they'll have an app to use?
Yes.
Is it a mobile app?
Yeah, so we rolled out an app called Seismic about a year ago, which handles all of the communication between coach and client.
Adee mentioned that on her show.
So, I mean, it just makes it stupid easy to do everything that we do. And now MyFitnessPal is connected with our app, so they weigh and measure their food, they log it, and then it goes straight to their coach. Their coach checks them in, gives them some feedback, gives them some tips, and then they're just crushing it.
That's cool.
Do
you guys ever do any type of, like you'll see with some of these nutritional companies, and, you know, I don't know if it's bad or good, like it can be weighed in on, but when they do these, you know, transformation competitions to kind of, like, create more, culture into the group, right? And they're like, hey, we have all these people, and, like, the people with the best body composition, you know, in the next 30 days that have X percentage, like, we're going to give X to. Do you guys ever do things like that to try to grow your well, I mean, she holds it back from growing, so maybe not, but is that something that you guys ever do? Is that, and if not, why not, kind of thing?
Right. Actually, no, and we probably never will.
Yeah.
We're trying to help people change their relationship with food forever, right?
Yeah.
And so what we found is if people work towards a 60-day or a 90-day goal, they work really, really hard, but somewhere in their mind, they're thinking, okay, at the end of this, I can go and smash some, an enormous amount of pizza and ice cream and throw it out the window. And maybe they're not conscious of the fact that they're going to throw it out, but when that carrot is no longer there, then they don't have those habits anymore.
Right.
So we want to take out that external motivation and just look at, like, what are the smallest little behavior changes that we can make that you can maintain no matter what life throws at you. No matter if you're on vacation, you're stressed at work, or everything is going your way and you're in routine.
That's awesome. I've always kind of felt negative against those competitions,
right?
Because I felt the same way, because it does create that, and it's like not everybody has the next thing come on their door like seconds later. Like you see, like The Rock, after he wraps a movie, he eats, you know, like whatever, like a pile of pancakes, French toast, and like pizza and stuff, like after the wrap, and then he has another movie to get ready for, so he's gotta, you know, get back on the thing where
and
somebody
else
else
might be using some supplements to help him turn it all into muscle.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Funnels it.
I don't know what it is.
Progenics.
There it is. That's the one.
It's definitely Progenics.
Really,
Proud sponsor of the CrossFit Games.
I think it's nighttime casein protein that he's got going.
Type A1.
Yep.
The stuff that doesn't digest well.
That's awesome. Right on, man. This has been a lot of fun. Stoked I actually got to meet you, hang out in person.
Yeah, it's an honor to finally be on the show.
As
where can people find you?
You can find me at Michael Cazayoux on Instagram. I haven't been on there in months, but you can go and look at all the pictures of me.
You can look at my history. Yeah.
How do you spell that last name?
Cazayoux. You can find all of the training programs at brutestrengthtraining.com and all the nutrition stuff at workingagainstgravity.com. And if you're interested in the affiliate program, email me at affiliate@workingagainstgravity.com. Damn, that's a mouthful.
No, you did a great job. I mean,
And you got rid of that southern draw. It's really hitting home right now on their drive
Smooth
to work.
talking.
I like that.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Strong Coffee, Adam Von Rothfelder, AVR,
Yes.
Von
Yes.
Roth,
The
all
body.
of the things. Tell us about some delicious coffee.
It's delicious.
That's
and
all
it
you need. You're
mixes
done.
instantly.
Drink it, and it's
Drink
healthy.
All you need to know.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. I mean, it's great for you. It tastes great and mixes easily, and it's convenient, and it's got all the things you need.
I love it.
When I think about it, I don't think about it as coffee specifically. It's like a meal replacement / coffee.
Yeah, you know, one of the terms or the thoughts that like goes in my brain a lot is the idea of sophisticated energy or nutritional energy.
That's sexy.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's
sophisticated
I think there's
energy.
there's a
hot.
Yeah, there's like this interesting thing that happens between like the age of like 18 and 23, where you know walking in to a meeting with a Red Bull may not be as sophisticated as walking in with like a coffee, right? So then like the guy that's like 40 looks at you like you're a 12-year-old because you have a Red Bull versus this cup of coffee. And I really wanted to find a way to kind of bridge the gap between what I think are actually more intelligent energy choices than just coffee, because it's, you know, in my opinion, a little subpar to the idea of like sustainability of energy, because you constantly need it because your body burns it off so fast. And so, yeah, so it was just the idea of combining some science with some whole food nutrition and making it taste really good.
I totally co-sign on that, because anytime I see somebody drinking a Monster energy drink, I think, what are you, 9?
Yeah.
Why are you 7 years old right now? You
Right.
know that's not good.
Yeah.
It's true.
You're
I
making
judge
a
the fuck out of
terrible
them.
decision.
Yeah.
It even
Like,
comes in
where
like
are
that.
your parents?
I'm like, I
frickin'
bet you smoke
can.
cigarettes
So
still
wait,
too.
Yeah.
do y'all not go on road trips and grab a Monster every now and then?
Oh, hell
No,
no.
never.
No.
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 Wait, do you?
I'm out.
Hold on, leave the microphone. They're expensive.
I mean, I don't know how many
He's got his
hours I would
20s.
have to be driving in order to think that was like an acceptable decision. Starbucks is open all the time.
Hey,
Yeah.
middle,
I don't know if
middle
they're-
of nowhere, Texas.
When
A
There's
Monster
probably
might be the best you can find.
more Monster energy drinks than Starbucks in the middle.
when
Yeah.
It's possible.
And what you were saying, I mean, like what we're all saying here is like time is an issue, you know, and like we waste so much time standing in lines where it was like, damn, like I just want to have the thing that tastes awesome and makes me feel great, like in
Right.
5 seconds at my house.
Bam.
I like that you said that you threw some science in there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
There's
man.
science
Yeah.
in the drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can
Sprinkled on top.
sprinkle a little science in there, and you can
Backed
check it
by
out.
For those of you at
Backed by
home,
science.
that's
yeah.
science.
That is.
You can taste it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can taste it.
Come taste our science.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Doug Larson, tell us about you.
Yeah. Not much to say. All I ever say at the end of the show is follow me on Instagram, Douglas E. Larson.
I love it. If you want to come hang out with me, I'm at Anders Varner on all the things. But more importantly, like, subscribe, find us on YouTube, get into iTunes, leave us a positive comment, and I read them, and I'm emotional, so I need the positivity from you. You like that? A vulnerable side.
Don't leave me any constructive
yeah.
feedback.
Right.
Praise me.
No,
Just tell
me
me I'm awesome. iTunes, YouTube, subscribe, like, share with a friend. See you next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Shrugged listeners, welcome to the Shrugged Collective Program Vault. Over the last 6 years, we've been leading the charge in online strength and conditioning programming and coaching. And for the first time in the history of the Shrugged Collective, we're combining our 11 best-selling long-term and short-term accessory programs into one membership site called the Program Vault. From Olympic weightlifting to strongman, leaning out, nutrition, you name it, our 11 best-selling programs are yours for $47 a month. Get to shruggedcollective.com/vault, and you will find immediate access to our 11 best-selling strength and conditioning programs.